What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sunday's knee-jerk stream. The game week 10 is over. I'm going to start talking about how things went. Obviously, if you had Leicester players, especially Jamie Vardy and Chilwell, Tielemans, maybe even Maddison slightly as well, you've had a pretty good week, I expect. Especially if you captain them, like my missus did. She was kind of thinking out loud, should she captain Sterling or should she captain Vardy? Inside, I was saying Sterling, but I kept quiet. She went Vardy. And I've heard all about it all weekend, so that was fun. I didn't own any Leicester players apart from Soyuncu, didn't even play him, which we'll come on to soon. But yeah, good game week, I think, for a lot of people. I got 66 points, made one mistake, but back up to nearly in the top 300k, which isn't fantastic, but obviously it's better than how it's been. So a good week. And before we get into looking at the team, answering all your questions, talking about how good Man United players are now, whether Jamie Vardy is essential, let's talk about the sponsor of the stream, OneFootball. If you haven't already checked it out, I know a lot of people actually tweeted me and messaged to say they really enjoyed using the app. I liked it apart from on Friday getting notified that Jamie Vardy had scored a hat-trick. That was pretty frustrating, but only because I didn't own him. So if you want to check it out, link is in the description below. Or you can just search for OneFootball on the iOS, Android stores. Plenty of football content on there, news, team news, as well as live score notifications, which is what I think a lot of FPL managers want to use it for. So if you've not already tried it out, a lot of people are telling me they're loving it, which is good. So completely free. If you want to try it out and then not use it later on, that's absolutely fine. But I think once you download it, you'll keep it and use it every single weekend. So like I said, link in the description below, or just search for OneFootball on the iOS, Android stores. And let me know. Let me know on YouTube or on Twitter what you think. All right. This was my team. The one mistake I made was late on Friday. I switched to Mori and Soyuncu. Ben, yeah, that would help, but obviously don't go to... it's not going to make too much difference, I don't think. I switched to Mori and Soyuncu on the bench. The thinking being that Barnes was flagged, Wood was flagged, obviously Food didn't play, and that Leicester would do well, of course, but Southampton had an informed Danny Ings. I think he scored 4 in 4 or something like that. And I didn't necessarily think that Leicester... I thought basically Chelsea and Leicester were both okay for clean sheets, but that Southampton would score, as they usually do at home. And... yeah, anyway, switched them. In the end, Otamendi didn't play. Tomori came on for 1 point, so I lost 5 points by making that switch, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I would have liked Otamendi to play. And yeah, I've got, as Mario says, a love story with Diop. The greatest thing about Diop is I'm probably going to play him again this week. I'm a sucker for punishment, basically. So attackers did great this week. Every single one of my attackers got points. But defence, awful. 4 points between 4 of them. It's really not a good week. So Trent Alexander-Arnold again looked good for attacking returns, as did Robertson to a slightly lesser extent. Obviously, nothing came through about him in the end. Diop, okay, West Ham, I'm not going to hold him for too much longer, but I probably will still have him and play him this week. And Chelsea just scoring a lot, but letting in too many goals. So could use a transfer on Pope. But I think there's better things I can do with those transfers, so I'm not changing goalkeeper just yet. And obviously Mount to Hudson-Odoi was something that I considered. Didn't need to do it in the end because I funded De Bruyne back in with more pay, and obviously that paid off. I mean, that's, to be fair, I haven't watched that game, the Brighton versus Everton game, but looking at the stats, he doesn't look too involved, but obviously got the penalty and 3 bonus points, which was huge, especially ahead of Norwich at home. So I'm really happy with that move. I thought about going for Jimenez. That would have been for a hit. So yeah, Morpay was it paid off, basically. Morpay paid off. De Bruyne doing what he does. Sterling back to scoring ways. Nice to get a captain haul as well. And Yarmolenko was decent. Yarmolenko should have had more points than 8. There was that chip into Cresswell. Cresswell should have shot first time. Didn't. Obviously wouldn't necessarily have scored, but would have been a bit better. So, or given himself a bit more of a chance. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this week. I mean, 66 points is more than I've scored in the last 2 weeks combined, where I got 37 and 25. So decent. Didn't own Vardy. I can't get Vardy without getting rid of Salah or Sterling, basically. I don't have a good way of doing it, or De Bruyne. So I'm probably going to stick. Like, I could do De Bruyne to Vardy and just play 3-4-3, basically, but I just can't do it. He's not going to... I mean, they've scored like 12 nearly half of their goals against two sides with 10 men. So fair play for obviously taking the chance, but I don't know. It was not unlucky for non-owners. We know Vardy's a good asset, but I mean 9-0, it's probably not going to happen again for years, let alone this season. So we'll see what happens there. My plan for Salah is to panic a bit about him because he went off with an ankle injury. Now Klopp did say it wasn't much of an issue. But obviously it is the same one that's kept him out of the Man United game. It's Villa away next. Well, they think they can do that without him, maybe. He'll probably get rested in, I think, this League Cup this week. In fact, have they got any fixtures this week? Let me have a look. That's a bottle cap. Get rid of that. At Arsenal, of course, yeah. So I'm assuming he'll get rested in that, but you never know. I'll show you the team for this week as well, as I start talking through potential moves. Obviously at the top, I don't know what my game week rank is. It doesn't massively matter, I guess. But I was like 500k, so I've gone up 200k this week, which is nice. Yeah, talking about goalkeeper, I mean, Pope's got Sheffield United away. Let me just check the other fixtures. Sheffield United away, West Ham at home, Watford away, and Palace at home. The next four are pretty decent. Like Sheffield United, yes, they scored against West Ham. They did have a couple of other chances, but they're pretty toothless in attack, really. I mean, the defenders are, Callum Robinson and McGoldrick, debatable whether they're any good. So I don't know. I'd be quite hopeful of points in that Sheffield United away game, but you never know. Obviously, it's good for Sheffield United to be at home, and they could get something there, but it's a good fixture for Burnley. So I'm happy enough for the next four. Like I said, Diop, I'm probably going to play him again this week. I mean, yes, West Ham defence not great. I definitely wouldn't advocate buying them. But at the end of the day, they're playing Newcastle, and Newcastle don't like shooting. I don't know if this is true, but I think I saw that Newcastle have had 6 shots on target in the whole of October. It's only 3 game weeks, I suppose, but yeah, not too good. So Diop probably stays. Otamendi is the concern. So Man City have a midweek game. So if he plays in that midweek game, I'm probably going to get rid of him. I'm going to my probably detriment, I'm going to try and guess Pep Roulette based on how he lines up in midweek. And I think if Otamendi plays midweek, then they're not going to keep him, because Fernandinho is going to get a break as well, so he's definitely going to play, you'd imagine. So the question is who to bring in for Otamendi. So Cancelo has played the last 3 games for Man City now, so he's suddenly an interesting pick if I want to stick to Man City. Otherwise, I might look towards Man United. I know they conceded against Norwich. They conceded 1 goal quite a lot. But defensive, statistics and stuff are pretty good for Man United. Maybe it's a bit worrying they keep conceding a goal, I know, but the fixtures are pretty good. Yeah, I could get Mendy as well. I think. Do I just want to stick with a Man City defender, knowing that they could get rotated? I don't know. That's frustrating, I think. The thing is, it's all well and good saying, well, you can have a good bench, of course, but Man City's fixtures aren't even that good coming up. So I'm not sure if I 100% want to definitely stick to them. So I'm I can't go near Arsenal defence right now. Maguire or Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka probably for bonus. Maguire for maybe that bit of goal threat. Obviously Cancelo, Mendy, or even Bolly's not an option now. So there's not too many options that I want to go for. I Chilwell, Pereira, of course, but then I'm doubling up on Leicester defence. They do have some good fixtures coming, to be honest, but I'm not sure I want to double up on them. Fernandinho got a red card, yeah, but he'll serve that for the cup game, and then he'll be back next week against Southampton. So yeah, they play. I can't remember who they play. Jesus, Man City fixtures. Oh, it's Southampton actually. They're playing Southampton twice. So yeah, Fernandinho will miss the League Cup, and then he'll play against them in the league. What are we saying about Xhaka storming off? I mean, it's not great to get booed by your own fans, is it? You know, he would frustrate me to have to watch every week. I'm not sure if he adds enough to that midfield. Like, he's rash when it comes to trying to win the ball back. Yeah, I can see why Arsenal fans are frustrated with him, but booing him is a bit too much. And obviously it's just got to him. Telling the crowd to F off, though, when you're the captain, not a smart move, to be honest. It's not going to help the situation, for sure. You know, at some point you just got to back it up on the field. But, yeah, not good. Not a good result either. I guess I haven't seen the match because obviously the Liverpool game was on at the same time. So whether he did something in the match that was frustrating them, or things just didn't go his way, I don't know. But yeah, I don't. If you're trying to win the fans over, telling them to F off is probably not the best strategy, to be honest. How does he come back from today's event? I don't think he can. Well, I don't think he can quickly. It's going to be hard for him. I don't think he's not been loved by the Arsenal fans ever since he kind of arrived. It's going to be a struggle. You know, like I think like Henderson at Liverpool, the captain. You know, often you'll see people say he shouldn't play. He wasn't good in X game. We shouldn't play him in the next game. But you know, he will keep running. He will keep fighting for the team, and you can see his passion. Xhaka, I just don't think you're going to get that from him. There's a lot of people probably would have said that Henderson shouldn't have played today, and then he ended up getting the goal. So, yeah, I don't know how. I wouldn't say Xhaka can never come back from it, but it's going to take a while. Trent unlucky not to get something. It is insane how good Trent is when it comes to delivering a pass or a cross. Like, he's so good. I feel like there isn't many players that can deliver a ball better than him in the Premier League. De Bruyne, of course, but outside of that, who knows? A lot of crosses, though. I suppose, you know, the chances of scoring from a cross are probably quite slim, but he does put the ball in the right place. Judging by the stream title, Andy's getting carried away after Man United's humbled the mighty Norwich high overhead. I mean, I'm not going to bring any Man United players in, to be honest. But at the end of the day, we talked about it last week. I mean, if you were going to bring Man United players in, this was the time to do it. Obviously, Norwich is about as good as it gets. I think they had like 9 shots in the box today between Martial and Rashford, which is, you know, in the early stages of the season, they weren't shooting that often. But yeah, of course, it's Norwich that's helped. But yeah, Martial hasn't blanked all season. 4 games, 4 returns. Missed penalty, frustrating for owners today, of course, but next few fixtures are good for Man United. So if you want to take a bit of a punt, there's worse players you can go for. Callum Wilson. Oh, that. I would, honestly, if I had the money, I said this a couple of weeks ago when before they were playing Norwich, like last week, basically. If I'd had the money to do Pookie to Wilson, I would have done it. And I wouldn't be sitting there with more pay right now. There's just no way I would have done it. And then to blank 3 games in a row, Arsenal away, Norwich home, Watford away. It's pretty frustrating, obviously. He's not shooting enough either. You know, say what you want about Man United. That's not a good fixture next. Man United at home. Wouldn't expect Bournemouth to get too many goals there. Newcastle away. We know Newcastle can defend when they want to. Wolves at home. Spurs away. It's tough fixtures. And I did say, if you didn't get him for the Norwich game, it did get a bit trickier to bring him in because the fixtures weren't as good, I think, as people were saying. Like Man United, Wolves, Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea in the next 7. I mean, Chelsea, to be fair, aren't keeping many clean sheets, but it's not a good run of fixtures. Here's the thing with the cheap strikers, though. Okay, if you can't afford Vardy, the only other one really is Rashford, who's a little bit cheaper. The problem is, if you've got Abraham already, there isn't a massively standout cheap forward to go for. I think if you want to keep the money in midfield, so I've got like Sterling, Salah, De Bruyne. I'm not really looking at changing that anytime soon. You know, if Salah was injured, would I take a risk and not go for a Liverpool attacker for a few game weeks? Maybe. But there's not a massive, like, standout cheap forward. So I'd be tempted to keep Wilson. And it's Man United at home. I think Bournemouth could get a goal there. It's just who's going to score it. Newcastle away, Wolves at home. Who'd you go to if you've already got Abraham? That's the thing. I don't know if there's... you could switch him, then he'll score, and then you'll be frustrated. I just think this is what's going to happen with these cheap forwards. You're not going to get somebody who keeps scoring every single week. Even Abraham has only scored 1 goal in the last 5 games. So it's not, I still think he's probably like the standout striker, but realistically, he's got 2 attacking returns in the last 5 games. So he's not exactly been on fire either. Pukki obviously awful. Wesley for Villa. Ings got bought off at half time. Jimenez didn't do anything against Newcastle, although I'm not sure that was completely unexpected. Arsenal away. Then he's got some good fixtures. So I'd be tempted to maybe punt on Jimenez after this week. You could even do it for Arsenal away, I suppose. I just there's no standouts for me that are absolutely must bring in. Connolly did well. Got 2 assists for being fouled, basically. But with Trossard back now, will he take some minutes off him, potentially? I'm definitely happy with 5 in midfield, that's for sure. Unless you've got Vardy, Abraham +1, I think 5 in midfield is working pretty well right now. Yeah, we won't get into whether they were fouls or not, but that's how he got the points, I should say. What to do with Bolly and Pukki? Who takes priority? I mean, really, it's got to be the guy that's injured, right? You got to take your injured players out most of the time, unless you've got good defensive backup. In which case, you could just get rid of Pukki instead. Pukki's got Brighton away and Watford at home. I mean, you could be saying 1 more week for so long with Pukki, but it's not the worst 2 fixtures to maybe hope for something from him. Okay, let's see what else we got coming. If I had Pukki, I wouldn't bench him, I don't think. For Soyuncu or Tomori, both away games, don't think so. Did David Silva touch the ball? I've only seen like a 1 replay on Twitter from a really far away camera angle on a small screen. I can't tell, to be honest. Took the risk of shipping Salah a few game weeks ago for Aubameyang. That penalty hurt today. It was frustrating as an owner watching Salah today. There's just, I don't know. He just doesn't seem on it. Like in another game, I think he gets a couple. I think he gets a couple of returns, like outside of the penalty. Don't know, just a little bit slow off the mark. There's a couple of balls over the top, I think, from Fabinho. But yeah, as a non-owner, for him to get a penalty, obviously that does hurt. But he's not, if you got rid of him for Aubameyang a few weeks ago, he's not exactly punished you up until this week, to be fair. I've got to keep him though, I think. If he's injured, maybe I'll go to Mane. Is Gazaniga worth a punt over Pope as a keeper? I don't see why not. I don't know if Spurs' defence is any better than Burnley's right now, though, to be honest. Like, if you've already got Pope, I don't think it's worth a transfer. If you're wildcarding, then you could maybe do it. Obviously, at some point before the next wildcard, Lloris will be back, though. Or he should be. So, potentially, you've got a transfer waiting down the line, but it's going to be a long way down the line. He was pretty impressive today. So it was like 12 saves or something ridiculous like that. Let me see. Spurs. Yeah, 12 saves. Incredible. Salah played a little slow because of his ankle. Yeah, but obviously, he's still obviously got that goalkeeper, Jesus. He's still got that injury because that's what he went off with today. So if that's going to keep niggling at him, is he always going to keep playing like that for the next few weeks? That's my only worry. I don't really want to spend a transfer on him when it's Villa away next. But I will if I have to. But I think right now for me, it's if Otamendi doesn't play midweek, and it looks like there's a chance he'll play at the weekend, then I'm just going to keep him, I think, and just have Tomori or Soyuncu off the bench. Otherwise, he's my transfer this week. Like for people in the chat who are who own Otamendi, who are your number one? Feels like I sank my eyes. Who are your number one like targets? Because, like I say, you could go to Cancelo or Mendy potentially. Man United defenders if you trust them, but I don't know if there's a massive standout for me. Who I don't already own. Like Matip, yeah, I've seen him touted around a few times. Maybe on the double up. If you want to go back to double Liverpool defence, but they haven't really kept many clean sheets. You think he'd obviously get straight back into the team over Lovren though, for sure. But like Villa away, I could see Villa scoring in that game. Man City at home, I would never... Like I wouldn't want to have Matip and Trent Alexander-Arnold for that game, I don't think. And then it gets pretty okay. Palace away, Brighton at home, Everton at home, Watford at home. And the next 5 after that. So it's not the worst idea. I'm just not sure I trust them enough. Stephen, you're 181st in the world. That is insane. Congratulations. Alonso, I guess there's a few worries that Emerson comes back at some point. Mendy, I know Mendy's going to be fine. Lundstram to back it up. I mean, I could just go Otamendi to Lundstram, not own him. When I look at kind of best fixtures coming up, hang on. So you got Leicester. I've already got Soyuncu. Man United. They're the ones I fancy, to be honest. So I fancy bringing in a Man United defender. Liverpool already own one. Arsenal, nah, I just can't do it. Not with Wolves and Leicester next. Norwich, there's no way I'm going to trust the defence. Burnley, I've already got Pope. Chelsea, I've already got Tomori. Wolves are going to be without Bolly, so that's a worry. So I think my top 2 choices are Cancelo or Mendy for Man City. So a Man City defender, basically. Or Maguire or Wan-Bissaka. I think that's what I'm going to go to. Bournemouth, like I wouldn't go to Aki. I think Bournemouth's fixtures are pretty tricky, actually. They've got Man United at home, Wolves at home, and Spurs away in the next 5. And to be honest, I would just buy Rico and save the money. Yammat might be worth it. Let me look at Watford's fixtures. Chelsea, Norwich away, Leicester away in the next 5. Possibility. The extra funds allow you to upgrade Yarmolenko to Martial. I don't really want to... I don't know. Yarmolenko's a tricky one. I mean, after this game week, Newcastle at home, the fixtures are not great. Burnley away, Spurs at home, Chelsea away, Wolves away, Arsenal at home. Not fantastic, I'll be honest. So yeah, maybe I do need to look for an upgrade. But Iwobi played again for Everton. Maybe I could go for him. Harvey Barnes as well for Leicester. A lot of options around that price. Or might just keep Yarmolenko. There's a lot of times he's the furthest forward for West Ham. Best replacement for Otamendi. Literally just been discussing that. Literally. Newcastle have great fixtures. Let me see. West Ham away, Bournemouth at home, Villa away. Lots of away games though. In the next 5, West Ham, Villa and Sheffield United all away. There are only 2 home fixtures in the next 5 are Bournemouth and Man City. So I'm not too sure about that. Wolves fixtures are good, but not the next one. Arsenal away, I don't think it's that good. I think Arsenal will score there. But yeah, Villa, Sheffield United at home and West Ham at home. Pretty decent in the next 5. So Wolves not a bad shout, but I think without Bolly, you do worry about them a bit more. And to be fair, one thing I need to do, which I obviously won't do now because it'll take some time and it'll be extremely boring to watch, is I'll probably spreadsheet my defence a bit. Because Tomori and Soyuncu, the annoying thing, they're not really rotatable because they both have good home fixtures at the same time. But that means the player I bring in for Otamendi, I don't necessarily need to play every week. Like in game week 12, Tomori has Crystal Palace at home, and actually Soyuncu has Arsenal, so I wouldn't want to play him. But they do have, especially Chelsea, especially later on, they have some pretty nice home fixtures. So I don't necessarily need to play the person I bring in every week. I think if I don't go Cancelo, I'm gonna go Maguire or Wan-Bissaka. Just use this as my excuse to get a Man United player in. Bournemouth away up next. Wilson out of form. Brighton at home, Sheffield United away, Aston Villa at home. And then maybe reassess. Obviously, the thing about Wan-Bissaka and Maguire over Cancelo is you know they're going to play every single week. No doubts about it. You think Leicester could keep a clean sheet against Arsenal quite easily? I mean, maybe, but before Friday night, sorry, Leicester had only kept 2 clean sheets all season. The first one was the opening day of the season against Wolves, or the opening game week of the season against Wolves, 0-0. And the other one, and the only other 2 they've kept. So they've kept 3 in 10 games. Apart from the Wolves game, the only 2 they've kept are against teams that went down to 10 men pretty early. Southampton away, Newcastle at home. Chelsea scored against them, Sheffield United scored against them, Bournemouth, Man United, Spurs, Liverpool, Burnley. Now, to be fair, they've not had the easiest fixtures, but I don't think Arsenal is one that I would see them getting a clean sheet from. But it is at home, so you never know. Would you get Tierney? He could become the next Robertson. Look, I've spoken about Tierney way more than I probably should have, considering today was his first start in the league. It's just, do you trust Arsenal defence? Is he going to get enough attacking returns? Is he going to play enough? Is he going to get rotated? Don't know if I trust Emery. Like, I want Tierney to be the next Robertson because he's a much better price, but I just don't know if I trust Liverpool defence to come good at some point. I'm not so sure about Arsenal. Trossard could be a good differential, but the question you've got to ask yourself is, can you guarantee he's going to start against Norwich? Because after Norwich, the fixtures do get a bit trickier for Brighton for a few weeks. Man United away, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, Arsenal away. So it isn't fantastic. Leicester fixtures game week 13-17, Brighton away, Everton at home, Watford at home, Aston Villa away, Norwich at home. Vardy is must have. It's going to be a big call for me on Vardy. I'm going to have to make a big decision to either just keep going with Sterling, De Bruyne or Salah, or get rid of one to get Vardy in. The main problem is there's not really any midfielders I like. Without having given this a massive amount of thought, if I'm completely honest, because I haven't really been considering it until Vardy scored a hat-trick. Between kind of, the likes of Martial, Richarlison or whatever, it's then from that right up to De Bruyne, Sterling, Salah. You've got Son, I suppose, once the Spurs fixtures. Let's have a look. It's Everton away next. I mean, Spurs fixtures are okay, to be honest. Everton away, Sheffield United at home, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home. You just worry about how well they'll do. So this is what I could do. Let me do a bit of tinkering. The only thing is, I don't know if I can. Let me see. I don't know if I can do it for more pay. This is the problem. 9.6. I'm just out of money. But I can make that elsewhere. But obviously the problem I've got is Vardy is going to go up in price. It's going to keep going up in price. There's no way he'll be 9.2 by the end of this week. I'm not going to do it this week. No way. Now Sterling, obviously I'm not going to get rid of him before Southampton at home, but Man City's fixtures after that. They've got 3 away games in the next 4. Liverpool, Newcastle, Burnley. Chelsea at home, Man United at home, and Arsenal away outside of that. So I don't know if I 100% need Sterling. Is Vardy must have? I don't know. I don't think he's must have this week. Crystal Palace away. With confidence high, maybe it's time to return to the Perez party rather than take hits for Vardy. Big call that. I would I know we say this a lot about players, but I definitely want to see a bit more from Perez before I jump back on him. I mean, that was a freak game. Well, let's not say otherwise. Yes, Leicester did very good. Yes, you absolutely smashed it, and you should be very happy if you own Leicester players. But that was a freak result that doesn't happen very often. So this week, let me have a look. Attempts. Leicester had 16 shots inside the box, and 9 of them went in. Let me rephrase that. I don't know if they were all in the box. They had 16 shots in the box and they scored 9 goals. City had 22 shots in the box, so 6 more, and they only scored 3 goals. So it ain't going to happen very often. I think it's more difficult almost to look at Leicester and decide if you need to have them after that kind of result. Obviously, confidence is going to be high, but you'd always rather see them have like a normal game and see if they were still good. Leicester are in form. They have the fixtures. Yeah, look, I'm not. The thing is, like, people message me saying, I told you Vardy was good. I mean, I said quite a few times I'd have Vardy if I could afford him. I just can't with this team setup I've got. Not saying he's a bad option. Not saying you shouldn't have him. Completely agree. The fixtures are there. The form is there. He's extremely consistent. Has been over years. So not saying he's a bad option. I just can't get him very easily. Pepe in? No. Not a chance. Well, never say never, I guess. Should we stick with a Liverpool defender? I mean, realistically, they've not massively. The thing is, so if you look at like Trent, for example, right? That's the one I was on because I was looking at this earlier. He's got 43 points at 7.2 million. So 7.2, 43 points. So if you go to midfielders for 7.4 or below, the only three that are beating Trent for points are Maddison, Tielemans, obviously we know they did so well in the last game, and Mount, who's been brilliant this season. So there's only 3 players beating Trent, and for the same price. Now, obviously, you've always got the argument that, you know, a 4.5 million defender, 5 million defender is better than the same price mid, for example. But Trent's done that. He's kept up with those midfielders with only 2 clean sheets in 10 games. Now, they've got another. They kept like 20 clean sheets last year. They've only kept a tenth of that, and a quarter of the games have already gone. So you could look at that and say they're just going to keep less clean sheets this year, and maybe they will keep a few less. But I would look at it and say Villa, Palace, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, and Watford to come. Some clean sheets are coming, I would hope. Whether I would be confident enough to double up, I don't know. But I'm not really looking at using a transfer on Trent right now. Van Dijk may be a little bit different, probably not as much attacking threat when it comes to kind of goals and assists. But he did have a couple of good chances today. If I was to pick one Spurs asset, who would it be? Probably Son. There's no way I would pay the money for Kane. Defenders, no. Midfielders, I mean, Eriksen could be an okay option, but I think I would just rather have Son. And probably the goalie. Probably Son and the goalie. Van Dijk flagged, yes, but it's just a dead leg apparently, so he should be fine. Trent is Liverpool's playmaker and set piece taker all rolled into it. Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth keeping De Bruyne and Sterling and Davern? I mean, they play a team that just conceded 9 goals. Again, obviously, there was a red card involved in that, but still. Trent puts in so many aimless balls at this. I don't know if that's completely true. To be fair, a lot of people did tweet me stats that Ashley Young's crossing is not that far off stats-wise than Trent's. And to be fair, they are crossing a lot of the time to like some Mane, Salah, Firmino. Maybe not the best assets for like, you know, from a cross outside the box to get on the end of the ball with a header. Although Mane is pretty decent. But he gets so far forward. You know, there's balls like smashed across the box, cut back, etc. He is on set pieces. Yes, there's a very low percentage chance of getting a goal from them, but I don't know, it kind of all just adds up that I really want. And the key thing for me is the clean sheets will come, I would say. I'd be very surprised if they don't. Yeah, Hudson-Odoi help. I mean, do we forget about Pulisic? I don't know if we forgot about him, but I'm not sure we expected him to come on and smash a hat-trick. But that is a worry for... If you own Hudson-Odoi, you've got to be worried, I think. Did Chelsea play midweek? I can't remember who's got fixtures in the League Cup. I guess most of them. Oh, Man United, of course. So yeah, let's see who plays in that game. If Pulisic gets a break and Hudson-Odoi plays in it, that'll be a worry, I think. Mount Hudson-Odoi, Tammy, not a good idea with Pulisic's performance. I still think Abraham is perfectly fine to own, and I think Mount probably is as well. Mount looks one of the more nailed on midfielders. McTominay going under the radar. I mean, players like that are always going to go under the radar because they don't score that many points, but they're cheap. We don't really like changing our cheap players around. To be fair, he's 5 million on 40 points. He's only 1 point behind Daniel James. So yeah, maybe not the worst player I expect, I suppose, but he's going to be kind of fifth mid material, like in a 3-4-3. Don't know if you're going to want to play him week in, week out. If he keeps scoring goals, 5 million would be a great option. I mean, you could use him as a massive make weight to get someone else in. I'm not sure you should be expecting too many points from him. Yeah, Mount absolutely plays different position. Abraham never plays 90 minutes. Maybe Jimenez is the better option. I mean, yeah, I guess he does. I mean, he's only got to 90 minutes once, to be fair. But he's getting, most of the time he's getting kind of 75 minutes plus for the most part. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I mean, I'd like to see Jimenez hit a bit of better form, but if Jimenez has got the fixtures, that's the thing. If you're going to try and get onto a player early, Jimenez has got the fixtures coming up. Do I still believe in Pope? I mean, I think Pope will be okay for the upcoming fixtures. I'm never going to use transfers to swap around goalkeepers. What's the priority for this game week? Otamendi out or someone specific in? I think for this game week, because you know Vardy is obviously the big bandwagon, but it's Crystal Palace away. There's no one from Spurs that I think I massively need. Man United, Martial, of course, would be nice, but I don't really have a fantastic way of getting him in. Sterling to McTominay and Greenwood to Vardy. Yeah, but then I'm just playing 3-4-3. So then it's... Yeah, I mean, I could do that, of course. I've said a few times, if you want to take a punt on a Man United player, then Martial is probably your best bet for the next kind of 3 or 4 fixtures. Yeah, there was a really nice shot from Trent today. Pope to Henderson in Gameweek 15 is a good one. Yeah, it might be. I'm not saying I'm never going to transfer a goalkeeper out, but I'm going to keep Pope for now. Like in four game weeks' time, that's what you have to look at. There's no way I'm going to take out Sterling before Southampton. Like, absolutely no way. Especially not for Vardy, who's playing Palace away. Yeah, the double up on Sheffield United defence is interesting because they haven't conceded many goals this season at all. But I watched them against West Ham, and like if West Ham were better in attack, they would have had way more goals. The amount of time, I mean, Sheffield United are quite organised, and they did defend well, and they kind of stopped West Ham getting too many clear-cut chances. But the amount of times that Yarmolenko or Anderson were in the box, and they just didn't know what to do. They just didn't punish Sheffield United enough. It was constant attack in the first half. Now, obviously, they were defending deep, and it's hard to break teams down like that. But would I double up on Sheffield United? Don't think I would. But I would definitely look at bringing one of their players in. Probably Lundstrom. We'd probably still pay the money for him. What to do with Aguero? I mean, for Aguero, for me, it seems pretty simple. You wait for the League Cup. If he plays in the League Cup, he should go. Unless Jesus gets injured. I don't know. I mean, it's a hard move to make, getting rid of him before Southampton at home. But there's no way you can captain him if he plays in the league. Just no way. So you'd have to captain one of your other players if you've got them. So it just, I don't know, it's a frustrating one for owners. I think that's pretty easy though. Aguero to Vardy seems about as straightforward as it gets. I don't think you really need to overthink it. I mean, Aubameyang, not for me. Kane, not for me. I think Vardy would be the one right now. Yeah, reminder, like the stream, much appreciated. Give it a thumbs up. How would you bounce back after a 500k rank drop? Time for punts. I mean, I would say the opposite. I don't think you suddenly need to go massive punts. This is the way I would think about it. Obviously, if it keeps happening, that hurts. But if you can drop 500k in a single week, you can gain 500k in a single week with a massive week. And obviously, that's difficult to do. But if you've dropped 500k, then that kind of almost tells me you've already got differentials in your team. They're just not hitting it right now. Yeah, click on the polls, top right corner, little I, if you haven't already. We'll go through them soon. We've got, should Aguero be given one more week? Which formation are you currently on? Which Man United attacker is best? Should Sterling and Salah make way for Vardy? Which is basically the situation I've got. And is Vardy absolutely essential? Sheffield United defence is much better than Chelsea, so why not swap Tomori? Yeah, I get it. I fully get it, but I don't need to do that this week. I don't need a Sheffield United defender this week. I quite like Baldock. Baldock should have scored a couple of times against West Ham. So yeah, they got a lot of defenders that are good options. Watch a ton of people get Vardy's going to end up blanking. The thing is, yeah, there's every chance that he might blank against Crystal Palace. Palace away is not necessarily a team that I would want to face or I'd want my attackers to face. But he's not going to keep blanking. He's going to be consistent. He always is. So I think it's fine if you want to bring him in this week. Next wildcard's not till January. Vardy and Maddison are essential. Jesus, I was on Twitter following the Leicester match, and all I saw was people moaning about Maddison. Can't believe they scored 7 goals and he's had no involvement. He's going to have to go. Bam, scores. Now he's essential. I mean, he's a good pick. Tielemans is ahead of him. Does that make I mean, Perez is only 2 points behind Maddison now, and Perez has missed. He's played across 3 games. He's played like 50 minutes total. Vardy, no arguments. Great option. Can I show? So we'll do the quick Patreon shout out here. Where is the Patreon League? October. I don't know if this is fully updated yet. 161. Yeah, that's probably about right. Is it not 161? How's it 161 with these? 90, 94. It's going to be 100. It must have someone else. So I think this is updated. I think. So Nick Hughes, it looks like you have won. I will wait until tomorrow to confirm that. Obviously, the October League is now done. So congratulations if that is true. I will confirm on Patreon in the next few days. Business Cat there, 4th place. Unlucky. Was doing well at the start of October. So good few scores actually this month. If you do want to check out the Patreon League. The link is in the description below for Patreon. You can sign up. The new league will be for November. I will send out codes within the first week of November, and obviously then there's prizes on offer if you want to check that out. Links in the description below. All the producers that support the stream are showing on screen right now, as well as our new Patreon, Toothless G. What a name. So thanks very much for signing up, and if you want to sign up and get involved with the league, you've got until November 1st to be signed up. So lots of competition, lots of good competition as well. But there's also Slack access as well. Slack was hopping this weekend, loads of discussion, especially with the Friday deadline, and obviously all the games over the weekend. So if you want access to the Slack, access to the Patreon league, make sure to sign up. Link is in the description below. And we'll go again in November and see who is victorious. But yeah, congratulations to Nick. It looks like you've won, but as again, confirmation at some point over the next couple of days. Oh yeah, I'll put my team back. There we go. And if you haven't already, click like on the stream, vote on the polls. We'll do them in a minute. I think Daniel James is still a great option, yeah. I think Martial's probably the better option, but James is obviously cheaper. Another one who could come in for Yarmolenko after this week. The old Daniel James. You're getting worried for Callum, Tammy, and Aubameyang. I mean, I guess what's the worry about Abraham? We kind of already discussed this. Like, the cheap strikers are, we haven't got one like Jimenez last year yet, where he scores every week. So I think we have to factor that into our thinking. Like, Abraham's only got 2 returns in the last 5. Obviously, Pukki's awful. Wilson blanks in the last 3, but they could turn that around at any point. Aubameyang's just too expensive for me. So straight away, I mean, you've obviously not got much money in midfield, so you could downgrade Aubameyang to. So you could downgrade Aubameyang to Vardy, but I wouldn't do it this week. I don't think. I'll give Aubameyang the Wolves game, and just go from there. Is Abraham off the captaincy list? That's an interesting question, actually. Especially so this week is an easy captaincy choice for me. 100%. 100% will go for Sterling or De Bruyne. But in game week 12, it's a little bit trickier because Liverpool play Man City. I don't really want to captain someone in that game. Vardy plays Arsenal. Spurs play Sheff Utd. So that was a fixture that I'd looked against Sunderland for at one point. So Abraham versus Crystal Palace could be an option for me in game week 12. I'm not ruling that out completely. Could just go for Salah against Man City. Could go for Sterling against Liverpool, of course. I expect it'll be an open game. Man City, I think if the points were closer... hang on, let me see. Is it 5 points now? 6 points in it. I think if the points were closer, I think that would be quite a cagey game. But I think, Man City are going to have to see that as a game to claw back 3 points. So they're going to go for it. So that could be a really open game. So captain might not be the worst idea, but I'm probably not going to go near it. So look, maybe if you own Martial, Man United versus Brighton, perhaps that's a fixture you could captain. I think game week 12 is going to be like last week. Or was it the week before? Where whichever week we captain Abraham versus Newcastle. It's going to be a week like that again, I think. Then you got Vardy against Arsenal. You got Spurs assets against Sheffield United. You got Chelsea against Palace. Man United versus Brighton. There's going to be a spread of captains for sure. Am I frustrated about the hacking? Yeah, like I don't think about it when I make my decisions that often, but it does spring to mind. Like I would have had, I would have already had Lundstrom at 4 million with Sheffield United's fixtures coming up soon, and obviously that money I had, like I think I lost like 1.9 million, I think, or 1.7. So obviously, yeah, getting Vardy would be much easier if I had that money. But look, it is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I still think there's plenty of points to play for, even with lower team value. I mean, at the end of the day, I should not be worried that I brought in Morpay and got 9 points. I mean, 9 points is a solid score for a 6 million forward. Yes, it's not Vardy's 20, but he's not going to get that every week. You should have your team band at the top of the screen as well. Yeah, I don't know if that's that interesting, is it? I put it in my team video, so if you want to see it, you can watch those ones as well. All right, we're going to do the polls. I'm going to refresh them now. Should we keep Pookie? I don't want to discuss Pookie too much. I mean, he's rubbish, right? But unless you've got someone you really want to bring in the next 2, I would be tempted to keep him one more week, 2 more weeks maybe. But he has been rubbish. Should Aguero be given 1 more week? 51% of you saying yes. It's very close. A lot of people saying you should get rid of him. 49%, of course. Someone asked me about formations. What formations are people currently on? Should we rethink? I mean, again, most of the time it's between 3-5-2, 3-4-3. It's just one player, of course. But 55% of you are on 3-4-3. 26% on 3-5-2. So most people with 3 at the back now. Nearly 80%, in fact, or just over 80%. And 4 at the back, some people still pursuing with that. And 1% apparently on 5 at the back. Which Man United attacker is best? I didn't give you the option of just putting none. Just some people want to bring one in. 64%, unsurprisingly, going for Martial. 19% on Rashford. Be interesting to see who's on penalties if we get one in the next game and Pogba's not back. You assume that Pogba will get them back now, but we'll see. Only 13% for James and 2% for McTominay, who's only 1 point behind Daniel James. Should Sterling, Salah make way for Vardy? 72% of you saying no. See, this is where I'm at. I can't get him without getting rid of one of these 2 players. 28% saying yes. And is Vardy essential? 57% of you saying yes. Now 43% saying no. So lots of people loving the Vardster right now and thinking he should absolutely be in our teams, which is fair enough. He absolutely should, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, if Aguero gets injured, then maybe you could look at Jesus. But I think, even though Jesus probably looks like he's got the spot in the league, I think we've not had enough game weeks to fully say that. And you still always worry about Aguero being back, right? -12s to get Vardy, Sterling, Connolly, and Soyuncu in for Pereira, David Silva, Aubameyang, and Wilson. Oof. But without giving that too much thought, it sounds okay, but a -12, I'm not sure about that. Sounds like, I mean, if you're absolutely sure, it's a lot of points to claw back. I mean, who are you taking out? David Silva could do well in the next game. Pereira, obviously you're swapping one Leicester defender for another. And Aubameyang and Wilson, yeah, fair enough, but I think Aubameyang at home in the next game. I know we didn't get anything today against Palace, but against Wolves, I'd want to maybe give him one more run out. But you can't begrudge anyone wanting to get Jamie Vardy in. I think you should get rid of double for defence. I've only got one. Alright. Yeah, that's a good point. Trossard might eat into some of Connolly's starts, but we'll see. I'm not really going to know that for a couple more weeks once Trossard is back up to full fitness. I'm going to leave the stream there. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure to give it a like. It's really appreciated. Helps out the stream. And subscribe if you're new around here. Like I said, if you want to check out Patreon, support the stream even further, get involved with Slack, mini leagues and stuff, the links in the description below. And obviously, if you want to watch me shake around, if you want to check out OneFootball, completely free app, search for it on the iOS, Android stores, or click the link in the description below. It's a really great app, and I think you guys will enjoy it as FPL managers. Otherwise, yeah, I think we'll leave it there. We've answered a lot of the stuff. I think there's not too many new questions right now. Obviously, we're only a few hours after the deadline's finished. We'll have the usual team selection, the usual preview, and then the next stream on Thursday as well. It's a Friday wait. Saturday deadline this week. We may not have been Bournemouth straight off, so that's good. We can do maybe do a maybe do a deadline stream and then normal stream on Sunday. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff coming this week as usual. But yeah, I will leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you on Tuesday for the team selection. See you later.